Good morning and welcome to Inside Texoma. I'm Melissa Kakarika, and today I'm joined by Stuart Harvey from the Nonprofit Center as we take an inside look at Teens Make a Difference. Good morning, Stuart.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, so people may have heard of Teens Make a Difference. What is this?
You know, it was a program that was started back in 2001 by our former executive director, Dee Decker, and her vision for that was to find a way to engage teenagers, give the youth of our community an opportunity to understand and learn what it means to give back, why it's important to do that so that we start a habit.
And so how it works is usually teens kind of take on projects, right?
Teens from all over Texoma, and right now we're looking at Iowa Park, Burke Burnett, Archer City, Bowie, Wichita Falls, Vernon. So we're trying to continue to grow the program, but the teens are the ones who do the work. We have project volunteers, like for example, someone says, I would love it if you could come out and help to beautify the church. Or maybe a city park, go pick up some trash, do some painting, maybe spend some time with some of the elderly folks in our community. And then we have an adult volunteer who would be there to help guide the teens to make sure they had everything that they needed and that things were safe and appropriate. And then we just match them up, and we do that on a morning. Typically we do it on one morning at the end of the month on October, and this year it's October the 24th, which is a Saturday.
But it kind of goes on the whole month, right?
It can. We want to be sensitive and make sure that we accommodate any kind of a school's needs. So sometimes you may have band that's going on, UL competition, different testing that might be going on. So we don't want to alienate a group of teens from participating in the program just because they've got some extracurricular activities or something that's already on the schedule that's very important. So they can conduct the program or the volunteer project anytime during the month, but we celebrate on October the 24th this year. And that celebration, can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Our great friends at the Central Boys and Girls Club downtown, Randy Cooper, Carlos Martinez, Barbara Green, everybody has been so generous. This, I believe, is our fourth year for hosting the celebration there, and that's where we meet at the end of the morning. So usually around 11 or 11:30 is when our teenagers show up, the ones from this area, typically Wichita-centric, and that's where we have pizza. Our good friends from the Junior League usually are the ones who help to provide pizza and serve that. So it's a time of celebration when we acknowledge and benchmark and kind of plant the pole in the ground, the flag in the ground, on why this is important and why we need to continue that.
I bet that's just a lot of fun. Everyone's kind of sweaty from their project and just in a good mood that they helped somebody, right?
It is, and you know what? Every year that I've been fortunate to participate in the program, all the kids come in, all of our youth and our teens come into the gym there, and they organize kind of naturally by school. So we just kind of test and see what kind of school spirit looks like there, and I love seeing that. It's great camaraderie.
So I know you mentioned this is the 14th year. How has this kind of grown as we keep going on?
You know, it continues to grow as our communities in our service area for the Nonprofit Center, and that's about a 60-mile radius for around Wichita Falls, as they grow more and understand more about what a benefit this is for their community. So they want to find out a little bit more about what it looks like, and we stand ready to help them whenever.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the impact this has on communities, because it is very meaningful for these communities.
Absolutely. And if you look at the aggregate number of hours, if you're looking around 2,000 teenagers, which is the ones who participate holistically in the program through all of our surrounding areas, times about 4 hours in the morning, that's about 8,000 hours. You know, when you put a multiplier on that, when the IRS determines of what the value of a volunteer hour is, just to get an idea, multiply that number by 20. Now we're talking about a significant amount of time and money that's invested in our communities in just one morning. Can you imagine what would happen if we could parlay that to twice a year or 3 times a year or quarterly? I would love to see us work more towards that model. But this is the benchmark for the year.
That's great, and obviously it kind of maybe encourages teens to make a difference throughout the year, maybe not just do the project, right?
That's what we want to see in here. You know what I love? Some of those little cameo stories. We have volunteers who come back as adult volunteers who are participants of the program. So we have alumni leaders of the program. To me, that says a lot. It says about the value, and it's become a community institutional event. something that our teenagers look forward to, that they recognize the benefit of, and that they are investing in.
Yeah, and that just helps them going forward in life, no matter what community they're in, just having that appreciation.
Sure, especially if you look at a teen who is thinking about applying to a college or university. It's not just about the grades, it's about the whole person. So besides the grades, what else have they done in the community? This is a great way for them to show that not only do they volunteer, but they volunteer consistently every year. It shows longevity, it shows leadership, it shows perseverance and commitment, and those are things that they can put down on their resume.
I want to take a minute to talk just about the Nonprofit Center, because this really just fits right in with your mission and what you guys do.
We're growing our next generation of givers. Absolutely. The mission of the Nonprofit Center is to strengthen Texoma serve Texoma by strengthening nonprofits through tools, training, consulting, and connectivity. And this is definitely a connectivity piece. And it's also a training piece in a sense, because we're teaching the youth why it's important to volunteer. I wish I could say that this is something that is being taught at home all the time, but I know that's not true. So we need to give opportunities where they may not otherwise exist. And this is a great way to do that.
And maybe get them involved with nonprofits in the future, the Nonprofit Center maybe?
Absolutely. We always invite and welcome volunteers and participants.
All right, we're going to talk a whole lot more about exactly what these projects are going to entail and how you can get involved when we come back on Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma on this Sunday morning as we take an inside look at Teens Make a Difference with Stuart Harvey from the Nonprofit Center. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been talking so much about what this is and the impact it has on the community. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here, what kind of projects we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a great point, because so often people, they don't know if they have a project that would qualify. We're looking for any opportunity. So if it's a beautification or cleanup at a church, at a school, at a park, roadside cleanup, all safety precautions taken into consideration, anything that can be done that would contribute to the upbuilding or the beautification of that community. It's Burke Burnett, Iowa Park, Bowie, Archer City, Wichita Falls, Vernon, anything that the community thinks is a good thing for the teens to invest in. That's what we're asking for people to volunteer for. So how do they do that? They need to go to our website, and on the website we have sign-up forms and sign-up sheets. We've got one, just as an example, we've got an individual teen sign-up sheet. So that's for someone who says, you know what, I'm not a part of a group as of yet, but I want to be involved. And we'll match them up with a group, or we'll start another group for them. And then we have an adult volunteer form, somebody who says, you know what, I may not necessarily have a project, but I can volunteer my time to be there to help supervise and to help lead the kids, our teens. I keep calling them kids, our teens, as they're going through the program. And then we have project forms that somebody can fill out. So all that is available online, a lot easier. Or if they want to, they can download the PDF and fill it out and scan it and send it back in, or they can fax it in, or they can bring it by. We want to make sure that we're doing whatever's convenient for them, and we'll work hard to be able to do that.
Okay, so then once they kind of fill this out, where does it go from there? Is there like an approval process for the project, or?
Really, the approval process is just making sure that we have an appropriate amount of teens to the request. So we don't want to overbalance a project. If a project request was for 20 teens, we don't want to send 80 teenagers out there. We want to make sure that we're balancing the request and the need with the number of teen participants. So that's what we do to try to work that out. So the project volunteer has a successful experience, and our teens are also set up for success in the program.
Okay, and then do you kind of match the teams depending on the project? These teens might be good for this.
Absolutely. Sometimes there's a specific request. Maybe it's a little bit older, because there might be a little bit of heavier work that's involved. So we try to take all those factors into consideration so that the teens who are participating aren't overloaded, and we're not setting them up for failure, we're setting them up for success, and we're meeting the needs and the request of the project donor, project giver, so that they have accomplished what they need to have accomplished.
Now, is there a deadline for these forms?
You know, we ask them to be able to fill that out as soon as possible. usually about a week out, it's really starting to get tight. So we're asking people to be proactive. So if you've participated in the past, thank you for all the work that you've done. We invite you and ask you to come back and participate again. If you've not yet participated in the program as a project volunteer or leader, we want you to step up and do that. There's a lot of teens out there. Our problem is that we usually have more teens than we have projects.
Okay.
So that tells me that we need to do a better job of asking our community and for them to meet us halfway and to step up and say, you bet, I will create something that's meaningful so that I can give our teens something to invest in.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out there. Maybe they just don't know to ask. So that's a really good point.
And if you have any questions, call the Nonprofit Center, 940-322-4961. We will walk you through the program. We'll explain all the steps, and we'll see how we can serve them.
Well, we just saw some video there of years past. What's it like on the day of when everyone gets together to do this project? Kind of take us through the morning.
It's lightly controlled chaos, which is sort of fun. But really, the wonderful thing is that we have such great adult volunteers is they meet and they team up with their teens at the project. So that's where they meet. They do their work. When they finish up, they head on, in this case for Wichita Falls area, we head on over to the Boys and Girls Club Central downtown, and then they gather, they play some games, play a little basketball, and then we eat some pizza, have water, soft drinks. We've got great friends, Little Caesars that has helped us, Coca-Cola, Market Street. I mean, everybody is working to pitch into the program, and that's when we also have giveaways. So the teens that show up for the celebration, we give gift cards, Visa gift cards. We have our friends at Aeropostal. I know I just butchered that. But we also have giveaways for a lot of the different retail stores, Academy, that we go out and purchase. If you'd like to donate one, that would be great too. And so it gives the teens something to look forward to. We do drawings for those. So there's a lot of excitement in the air. And it's also a reward for that very significant behavior that we hope becomes a pattern of behavior.
Yeah, what kind of feedback do you get from them at the celebration or even a couple days after the fact when you kind of go to them and say, hey, how'd it go?
You know, the teens have an amazing amount of support for the program, and I wouldn't necessarily quantify it by what happened immediately after, but the way that they regard and continue to participate in the into the program and volunteer year after year. We've got some teens that have been doing this since they were 12 years old, which is, I love that. I mean, that's what we want. We've even had teens that went through the program, that went to school, that left school, moved to another community, and started up a teens program themselves.
Wow.
So that means that the seeds that we're sowing are the right kind of seeds and the ones that will pay off in the future.
Absolutely. Well, I know you brought some shirts here. This is something that the teens are going to get on the day.
Every single teen that participates in the program gets a T-shirt. And this is the one that we had from last year. And you can see 2014 on there. And then it also has our sponsors. And if you're a sponsor for the program, we want to recognize that. If you think about the multiplier effect of 2,000 teenagers running around wearing your logo many times throughout the year, that's pretty good. And it's also a way for a business to kind of brand their image and their mission and their service by saying we're invested in the future of our community. This is one of the significant ways that we give back. So we're just really excited about being able to do that every year. This is the one for this year. So it's going to be this cool looking gray, and it's got the green and the light blue on there. So we've already had good feedback on that, on that color scheme. But it's a way for us to also recognize the teens as they are participating and to advertise the program itself throughout the year so that we can continue and perpetuate that. We've got amazing foundation support from the Bridwell Foundation, J.S. Bridwell, Gene Conley, BNSF, the Hogan Foundation, Junior League, Hotter Than Hell. You know, you guys are, of course, not only today, but you sponsor the program. So we're working to be able to create a more broader vehicle for folks to get recognition for the investment they make in us.
I bet there's teens that have a whole wardrobe collection of those after a couple of years.
They do. Seriously, they do.
They do.
Yeah, and it's something that they look at kind of with a sense of pride. You know, it shows their participation in the program.
We're going to talk a whole lot more about Teens Make a Difference, but first we're going to take a look at what's coming up next week on Inside Texoma. Next week on Inside Texoma, we take an inside look at Empty Bowls. The annual event raises money and awareness to aid in the fight against hunger in our community. Find out more Sunday, October 4th, starting at 5:30. And if you want to see more episodes of Inside Texoma, just head to newschannel6now.com and click Inside Texoma. You'll find a link to all of our previous episodes. And if you want to be on Inside Texoma, just reach out to News Channel 6 with your idea. See you Sunday mornings on Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. This is Teens Make a Difference that we're taking an inside look at. We've talked a lot about the projects and how you can volunteer. What else do the kids kind of need to know? Anything you're asking of them as they go into this kind of moment or month of service?
You know what? Our tagline for the program is creating a new generation of volunteers, but it's also a new generation of givers, because we need to give back to our communities. And it's not just with our elbow grease, and our perseverance, but it's also with our finances. So we're asking our teens, it's not a requirement at all, but if they can, we're asking them to make a financial investment in the program of $5. That goes back towards the cost that it takes to run the nonprofit center year-round in between the time that we do Teens Make a Difference, so that we can continue the program and grow the program. So I would ask all of our team leaders, our adult volunteer project or team leaders, if you can, make a point of asking everyone that participates, if they can, to make an investment. If you want to have really neat, smart way to teach about fund development or fundraising, ask the teen to put in $5 and ask mom and dad to match that with $5. Because this is a good thing. I think all parents can see the value of this program as it teaches civic responsibility, civic duty. The folks that created our community, we're walking on the path that they paved. So it's our job to continue that construction, and we're just asking them to invest in that construction process.
Yeah, and they might be doing a project, but they're getting a whole lot out of it as well.
Absolutely. It's if we don't instill or find a way to bring to fruition the value of giving, then we're going to be missing out on a generation, and we don't want that to happen.
Well, looking towards the future, what do you see for this program? Anything you want to see happen with Teens Make a Difference in the future? I would love to see this program pushed out to our 60 to 70 mile radius. I want to see teens in Altus, I want to see it in Lawton, I want to see it in Duncan, I want to see it in Decatur, in Graham, in Seymour. I want to see, in Electra. I left out Electra. I didn't mean to do that. We have a group that comes over from Electra, but I want every community to not only host the program, but I want the leadership of the community to embrace it. I want the folks that are the legislators, that are the community leaders to say, this is important for us, really to lead by example. How do we show our teens that we think it's important for them to be future decision makers and volunteers? We're going to be the ones to help make that project happen, and we're going to invite them alongside us. I would love to see that. Well,
we would have
possible.
Thousands and thousands of teens doing this.
I would say that seems possible because you normally get a good turnout of kids, right?
Absolutely, but I want to see the program grow exponentially, and the only way that that's going to happen is if our adult community leaders make it happen.
So they can reach out to the nonprofit center and get more information about how to do that,
Absolutely.
Right?
I'll come over and sit in your chair in your office, and we'll talk about what we can do. We will serve you every step of the way in that. It does nothing but create a win-win for all of us down the road.
Well, the nonprofit center has a lot going on in the future, right?
That's right. Teens Make a Difference is one of our keystone programs, but we also have other ones coming up. I'm really excited. October the 1st, we have our board boot camp, and that's with Chuck Loring. He's one of the senior consultants at an organization called BoardSource, the premier governance organization for nonprofit boards of directors in the United States. He's going to be here in Wichita Falls. This is an 8:30 to 3:30 program. October the 1st, it's going to be at the Camp at the Forum. And if you have ever wondered about what good board service looks like, if you've never received any sort of training as to what should I expect of myself and the organization and mission that I'm serving, he will walk you through that program in an unbelievable fashion. Time will fly by, and you will learn more than you could ever hope to learn. You walk away with a notebook of reference material, and lunch is included. I think we're at $65 or $70, $75. It's well worth it. You won't get this chance again for at least another 2 years. Our good friends at the McCoy Foundation are making this possible, and so we want to thank them for that.
Absolutely.
We also have coming up, probably in the second week in November, is our customer service program. Last year, we had Jennifer Blackman, who is a senior consultant at Ritz-Carlton Leadership, to come in and share what customer service looks like from the Ritz-Carlton model and perspective, and it was fantastic. So we're going to be inviting her back, and so be looking for that to come up. And then we have our new flagship program that's a fundraiser, but really it's a community connectivity point. It's Gingerbread Jubilee, and that's going to be December the 3rd this year, which is a Thursday. And if you didn't hear about it last year, it'll knock your socks off. It's as simple as you coming in, you pay your ticket price, and you get a pre-made, this is not construction, it's a pre-made gingerbread house, and it's just about family, fun, the Christmas spirit, and putting it together, decorating it, and having a lot of fun. And at the end of that day, we're also going to have an auction. A lot of our nonprofits in the area, they will get a house, and then their boards of directors, their board members will decorate that and put that up for auction. We have a silent and a live auction. So half of the money that they raise from the auction of that goes to them, and half of it stays with us so that we can continue all of our good programs. But we've got lots of buy-in and sponsorship. The Wichita Falls Area Realtors Association is a member of that this year, and I'm so excited because all of our realtors in the area can put a soft spin on their industry and their skill set and sell that gingerbread house and just have a lot of fun with it. Too often, just like board work, Melissa, if we do nothing but focus and concentrate on the work, then we lose a lot of the joy that should come along with that. And this is something we're trying to do to create a family tradition, but also remind everybody that we need to take time to be thankful and to be joyful about the work that we're doing and to celebrate our mission.
Especially with the holidays coming up, that's going to be the perfect fit in.
Well, you take this gorgeous creation that you just made and you take it home, and it can become a centerpiece for your table, for your mantle, around your Christmas tree, whatever you have, so that you did that with your grandchildren. I can't tell you how much fun I saw with grandparents, grandkids. I mean, you can imagine how much fun kids had walking in and seeing this huge thing of candy in the middle. It's like you could just see them start kind of vibrating on the sugar they're about to inhale. And but it's just fun. It's just great fun. And we have Santa Claus. We take pictures. We have music. We have lunch. We have hors d'oeuvres in the evening. We'll have all kinds of beverages and things that are celebratory in that time of the year. And we all have a fun time doing it. Got a fantastic steering committee, not only for Teens Make a Difference, which I absolutely am so thankful for, but our Gingerbread Jubilee Committee. They all work so hard, and we could never thank them enough for all they do. Oh,
I'm sure. But we'll have a whole episode on Gingerbread Jubilee coming up later in November. But
yes, ma'am.
You guys are busy. You need to take a breath for a minute. Are you okay?
Well, summer's a little regroup time, and then we hit it hard in the fall. That's harvest.
Well, if somebody missed it earlier in the show about Teens Make a Difference, let's kind of put it out there again of how they can just get the forms and get involved.
Sure. You can go to our website, which is nonprofitcenterwf.org. All the forms are on there. If you want to connect with someone live in person on the phone, 940-322-4961. We'll be happy to walk you through the steps. The celebration day is October the 24th. It's going to be at Central Boys and Girls Club. Thank you again, Randy and Carlos and Barbara, for doing such a great job and being such great friends and hosts for us there. We love the partnership point with you. And for the teens to do some good work, to come and celebrate, and hopefully continue that spirit throughout the rest of the year.
And if you have a project, don't hesitate. Any community beautification project.
Absolutely. If you're unsure, just call, and we'll walk you through it, help you clarify it, and get something that we can offer to our area teens. And thank you to our teenagers for being the ones who are doing the work, who are investing in your community. Thank you, each and every one.
Yeah, it's very inspiring just to see the younger generation getting involved and making a difference.
That's right, and they're leading by example because we usually have more teens than we do projects. So let's not let them down. Call in and let's create a project. I feel like I'm about doing a KERA thing. Call in now, but it is. You know,
you're excited.
I am excited, and this is something that we all should be invested in. Part of the education of our youth is not just the book learning, but it's also the communal sense of responsibility and how to be a good neighbor and citizen where we live.
It's going to be another great year for teens to make a difference. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks again, Melissa.
And thanks for tuning in to Inside Texoma.